everyone. So we're going to be touching on routine maintenance this morning. I have a PowerPoint slide that I'd like to share with you guys. So let me bring that up. All right, routine maintenance is an important part of your day-to-day activities. Could you guys let me know, Vishal, are you seeing the PowerPoint? Vishal? Let me do a new share. Okay, let me just share again. I'm not certain if you all were seeing the PowerPoint slides. Okay, so hopefully you all are seeing my PowerPoint slide. All right, so we are going to be touching on, firstly, with regards to routine maintenance, we're going to be touching on understanding the tables. Because firstly, you need to know how data is stored within the tables, and then how you can efficiently get the most accurate data out of your GP tables. Now, with regards to table groups, these are the basis of Microsoft Dynamics GP. So they contain your data. Typically, two or more of the tables that are used to store related information are combined to make up a table group, and it's also called a logical table. All right, so I would like you all to note that the transaction work table group, you can see it contains a transaction work table, and it's also typically includes a table with the same name, and in some cases you may also find that the table group only has one table in it. In this case, it contains 3 tables within this work group table. We have the transaction work table, the transaction amount work table, and the transaction clearing table. With our table naming conventions, Microsoft came up with 3 different ways to name the tables. They have the technical name, they have the display name, and then they have the physical name. So we're firstly going to talk about the technical name. With regards to the technical name, you can review the physical or technical or display names in GP, but I would show you that in a bit when I go to Microsoft Dynamics application. But with regard to the technical name, this is usually used by the dexterity programmers that uses dexterity code. So you'll often see technical names in error messages such as this that you have up here. This is a fine example of a technical name that you would see. Right, so it looks pretty much as something that you may not understand, and this is referenced within your SQL Server database. Display names, now these are more friendly usernames that we utilize within GP, and it's more user-friendly to non-technical persons. It displays the use of the whole words with spaces between them. So it protects the users from actually needing to translate these technical names or these physical names. So you see display names when you're working with tools that are used by the end user. So tools such as Smartest Builder, Excel Report Builder, Report Writer. So the screenshot here would show you what the display names look like. And as you can see, it is easy for an end user to decipher what table they're actually being referred to. Lastly, we have what is called the physical name. Now, the physical name in GP is seen by the database. So any type of error that happens on the SQL level, for instance, would use a physical name. So here you can see it's referencing GL 10,000, right? This is actually a table within the SQL Server database. Microsoft has also came up with a naming convention. It's a smart way of how they name the different tables. How they broke it down is that they base it off of 2 to 3 characters on a module. So you would have RM, all right, which would reference the receivables management module. And then it's followed by 5 digits. Now these 5 digits are broken down, as you can see below here. So we're first going to begin with the first digit, which is a 0, and this is actually a table type. So below here we can see 0 to 7. So if this first digit is 0 to 7, you can check against the table type and you would be able to decipher if it's referencing a master, work, open, history, temporary table, etc. The third and fourth digit, these are sequence numbers, and these sequence numbers indicates what logical group of tables that it belongs to. So, for example, if it belongs to the customer master table, it would be referencing 0, 1. Or if it references a different table within the system, it would be referencing a different number. And finally, the last 2 digits is what is called a variant number. So these numbers increments for each table for the logical groups of tables. So below here you are seeing an example of a logical group of tables. So you can see that we have a logical group of tables with the same name, RM customer master, RM customer master address, master sum, master period sum, and all of them are incremented with variance numbers. So it started off with 0, 1, but because it's of the same logical group, the numbers are incremented, right? So let's just recap so we have an understanding. We have firstly the module, which is either consists of 2 or 3 letters. And then we have the first digit, which is considered the table type. And it's going to let you know which table type group it falls into. And then you have the sequence number, which is the third and fourth digit, which tells you which logical group it belongs to, whether it's the customer master group, and that would be 01. And then lastly, the fourth and fifth digit that references the variance number, which increments based on the logical group. So that is the understanding of table groups in a nutshell. And this is important to understand in the event that you need to go within SQL and actually find your data within the necessary table. So I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to share my GP application for us to continue. Okay, so hopefully y'all can see my screen a little better there. All right, so we talk about where your information is stored and how to decipher your information within these tables. Now, when you're providing, as a system administrator, when you're providing routine maintenance, it's always important to be efficient, and it's also important to do certain procedures, whether it's on a daily basis or on a monthly basis, because it's going to give you the best performance out of your Microsoft Dynamics GP application. Now, firstly, we all know about backups, right? Backups is a main thing that it's always spoken about, that is always important to have in the event anything goes wrong. So the Microsoft Dynamics GP system, whether it's designed to help ensure maximum accuracy throughout your accounting data, it occasionally does have that those mishaps where you are going to be disconnected from your network, whether it be from a power outage, a power surge, a hardware failure, any other problems that could happen that may damage or destroy your data. And when that happens, you must have your backups to rely on. So these factors can cause these factors can cause various accounting data to be missing within the background. It can also perform, it can also have data corruption within your Microsoft Dynamics GP environment. So while damage may occur infrequently, the factors that cause it are difficult to predict or control, and it's necessary to take measures to protect your data. So therefore, regularly backing up your accounting data and performing table maintenance to help minimize risk of data loss from table damage is also important. Now, I don't know if many of you probably would have joined me in previous sessions where we would have done backups via SQL Server, but you can also do backups via your Microsoft Dynamics GP environment. So in Microsoft Dynamics GP, you would go to Microsoft Dynamics, then you go to maintenance, and then you would go to backups. Here, you would select the company that you would like to backup, and then you're going to select the path for your backup environment. So I'm currently pointing to the E drive of my local disk, and I'm going to point a folder called Optimus Backup. Once you have entered your information, you click OK, and you wait for that to back up. All right, the window would close and the message would appear that when the backup is completed. And here you can see my backup which I've made. It's pretty simple and straightforward. So another way that you can have a routine maintenance is by scheduling your backups. Secondly, you can also do this within SQL Server. However, you can also do this within Microsoft Dynamics GP as well. So you can schedule your backups for system and company data that occur on days and times that you specify. Please know that only a system administrator can open the schedule backup window to schedule any database backups. So if you have Microsoft Dynamics GP installed on a server, you must back up your database using the server. Right? So in Microsoft Dynamics GP, we would go to Microsoft Dynamics, we'll go to maintenance again, we'll go to backup, I think my machine freeze. Hold on guys, 1 second. Okay, I would have to come back to this option. All right, so I will come back to the schedule backups option. It's not allowing me to select the schedule option from within the backup window. Another point to make when you're doing system backups, even though you may have backups within your company, there are certain things that also need to be run, such as updating your statistics. You can also do that in your SQL maintenance window, and this reconfigures your data, and it makes it for better performance. So you may back up your data, but you may have a lot of information that increased your table size, or you may have removed a lot of information from your database and it has decreased your table size drastically. So now you need to go in and update your statistics to reconfigure that data and reconfigure that table to keep a better performance. So in order to do that, you would go within, now everything guys is done within the SQL maintenance window in GP. So under maintenance, you will go to SQL. And within this window, you can select a database and at least one table and mark the update statistics option. So whether it's your Dynamics database or your Fabricam company or your live company, all right? Once you have a vast amount of information that has been added to your database or removed, it's also good to do that updating of the statistics to get that better performance out of your data. So you would choose which table which needs to be recompiled, and then you would update those statistics. On this same particular window as well, you are able to recompile your procedures, and in effect, once you make changes that affect statistics, it's also good to recompile those stored procedures that act on the table so you can better optimize your queries. So I would suggest that this is done on a monthly basis, all right? Because within a month, you would have a lot of transactions that has occurred during that period, and you want to have better performance throughout um, your time using the application. So as soon as you run and update statistics on your table, it's also good to then recompile those stored procedures, because sometimes stored procedures may lose efficiency, and recompiling those stored procedures that act on the table can optimize those queries. Right, so to recompile, it's the same procedure. You open your SQL maintenance window, all right? You select a database or at least one table that you want to mark as recompile, and then you click process. And that recompiles your stored procedures. Now there's another option called the database maintenance utility tool. This tool allows you to reload database objects for selected databases and components. So for example, if a stored procedure was deleted by accident, for some reason it's missing, you can use the database utility maintenance tool to restore that stored procedure. So a database would contain tables that store your data. A database also contains objects such as your stored procedures, your functions, your views, your database triggers. So, and all of this which can be reloaded with the database maintenance tool. So let's take a look at that tool. Under Microsoft Dynamics. And database maintenance. Here you would put the server name in. And you could put in the SA password. Guys, I have more than one version running on this at this point in time. Let's see if it's this one. Okay. Give it one more try. Let's see. Um, Let me try something else. Okay, so let me run through that. Okay, so guys, this is basically what the database maintenance utility looks like. So you have your list of companies, and you can choose to select either all or a particular company. It's always important to always make a backup of your system dynamics and company database before you reload any database objects. All right? So you will use this database maintenance utility to reload your database objects to selected databases and components. You might need to reload your database objects. Like I said, if it is you have a deleted stored procedure, you can come in here and to get that back. So it's a matter of selecting your particular company, and also be reminded that you must be a member of the sysadmin fixed server role, and that's the only user that can connect to reload any database objects. Click next. And here you can select products window. You can mark the components or component to components that needs to be reloaded. So you have various product names, whether it's strictly Microsoft Dynamics GP product, or it may be Excel-based, budgeting-based, or Smart List report scheduler. You select the product, you click next, and in the select database objects option, you could select whether it's a view, a trigger, a function, or a stored procedure that needs to be reloaded. Once you choose the selected option, you click next, and once you select next again, it's going to go through the SQL Server objects and it's going to see what's missing and it's going to recreate those objects. Something to note, you guys, after you have restored your database objects, you would need to reload any database object customizations. So if you have pre and post procedures in eConnect, you would need to put those back. Right? If there are any errors while you are trying to connect to SQL and fail, you should always verify that you are the only person that's connected to the database. Because sometimes if you have users stuck within the system or actively using the system and you try to reload these objects, you're going to receive errors. So be mindful, make sure that you're the only person connected, and that once you have confirmed that, then you should go back in and try to reload those database objects again. All right. In GP, during database maintenance procedures, the system admin, it's their duty to always ensure that the GP database is up to date, correct version, you are service packed, or you have applied the latest patch. Sometimes it may be difficult when you have a lot of a lot of employees, within the organization. It may be time consuming to actually get around in getting those updates across to everyone. So, and then there may be issues where someone may have missed an update and they try logging into GP and they receive a bunch of errors. Now, with the client update feature in Microsoft Dynamics GP, you can install updates on your client's computers automatically by using the automated client update window. You must be an administrator to use this window, however. So when an update is available, you must update your server first. And once your server is updated, then you can go ahead and push out the installation to the client computers. Right? Those installations can be in the form of a hotfix or service pack, and also it can be in the form of a chunk file, and those are created by your ISV vendors. So whether it's a hotfix, chunk file, or a service pack, all of those can be pushed out to your clients or your employees, and they can, when they try to log into the system, they would receive an automatic update to upload and install those files. So, for instance, under your Microsoft Dynamics GP menu, if you go to Tools and you go to Setup and then you go to System and then you go to Client Updates, this window here is where you can update your client information. So when a user, when a system administrator updates their server, they could come here, they can give it a name, and they can state that they would like to update clients at next use. And then they would push out the client updates via a shared folder. So you're going to enter a universal naming convention or a UNC path to where the update is located. So the update must be located, one, in a shared network location that the client has access to. All right, so I'm going to copy this. And this is a UNC path that I have created. So under my updates, I currently have a service pack, and it's located in the UNC path that I have created. All right, so once you enter this and you click Save, any user, now it's only me on this system, so I don't have any clients to access, but once you click Save, any user that tries to access GP, it's going to match the version against what's on the server. And if for any reason the version does not match, it is going to attempt to install. Now, you have the option to choose yes. If you choose yes, Microsoft Dynamics GP would close and the update process would begin. However, if the user decides to choose no, the update isn't going to be applied and Microsoft Dynamics GP would close. Therefore, the user would not be able to use Microsoft Dynamics GP on the client computer until the machine is updated with the service pack, hotfix, or chunk file. All right. So I'm not going to apply this. All right, so I wanted to go back to see if I was able to choose the schedule backup option. Let's see, maintenance, backup. Okay, no. All right, that's okay. So I will just show you guys from the SQL server management point of view where you can create maintenance plan. All right, so you can use the maintenance plan wizard. Oh. One second, let me activate. All right, so that's another point, guys. Before you could actually use your maintenance plans feature, it must be activated via services and the agent must be running. So under the SQL Server Maintenance Plan wizard, we can create maintenance backups. So it's scheduled, whether it's daily, weekly, or monthly. All right, currently I don't have anything scheduled. All right, you can give your backup plan a name. All right, you can state the schedule type. If you want it recurring, if it's a one-time backup, whether the CPU becomes idle or you want it to start automatically when SQL Server agent starts. All right, I'm going to leave it as a recurring backup and I'm going to state that I would like this backup to be on a daily basis. So I want it to occur once every day and I would like it to occur at 12 o'clock in the morning. Right, so that's where I know no one's on the system, right, and I'm going to get a clean backup. Right, you could also have the option if you want it to occur every hour, every 12 hours in a day, right, you could even go down to minutes and seconds. Right, but I'm going to leave mine to occur once a day at midnight. So the duration is going to start today and I'm going to set it to no end date. So it's going to run every day indefinitely, right? Always be mindful that these backups do take up a lot of space, especially if it is you have large database sizes. So you need to keep that in mind when you are making your backups and ensure that your server has provisions for these backups. And if not, you can also clear off your old backups after a particular amount of time. You could, after a month of backing up and you're realizing that, okay, everything is well, then you could clear off those old backups because you're not going to need any old backups. You will need your recent backups. So you could keep a couple of weeks worth of backups, but that should be fine. Now you have the option to check database integrity. Now, the nice thing about SQL Server Maintenance window, it's going to tell you what each does. So this is actually going to check for any inconsistencies within the database before it backs it up. So you know that whatever is backed up is corruption free. Right? You're also able to shrink your database, rebuild the index, update the statistics, and these we actually find on the Microsoft Dynamics GP end, and when you're performing your maintenance duties. You could actually do this from GP, and we went through this a bit earlier, where you could update your statistics and also rebuild those indexes. You also have the option to back up, whether it's a full, differential, or transaction log backup. So the full backup, right, allows you to specify these source databases, destination tapes, whether you want it overwritten. If you want to override the options of your other full backups. So for instance, you may have a particular backup that was done yesterday. However, you would like your backup still override your existing backups. You can also set to that option as well. And then there's the maintenance cleanup task, which it removes any leftovers from the maintenance plan, right? So usually all I do is the full backup. The integrity backup is a nice to have as well. Just bear in mind that if your database is large, it is going to take a while to run this integrity check before it backs up your database. All right. So my backup is set to full. And then I'm going to choose to back up my Fabricam database for this example. You also have the option to ignore any databases that are not online. So if for any reason you have databases within the system that's not being used, you are able to ignore those and just back up the ones that are currently being used. And you can also say that you want all databases or system databases backed up, and all user databases, which excludes any masters or temporary databases as such. Once you specify your database, you can specify the destination of your choice, right? Right, and in the options you can set if you want the backup set to expire. So therefore those backups will not be able to be used anymore, and it could expire after any amount of days that you may choose. Right? You can also have a backup encryption. If it is you want to encrypt your backup, you can verify the integrity of that backup. All right, you can continue, which I don't know why anyone would want to, but you can continue to back up even though you have an error. All right, so you have the various options in here that allows you to choose to do your backups. And you can also back up more than one file, more than one database, sorry, across more than one file. All right, but this is a very standard backup that we're currently doing. We're backing up our Fabricam. We choose our destination. It's going to back it up into our Optimus backup folder. All right, and here it's going to write a report to a text file, or you have also the option to email it out. For example, if it is you have any issues with the backup, your recipients would receive an email with the error log. So they would know to go and check to see what's wrong with that backup file. All right. Once this is completed, you click finish, and it's going to create the maintenance plan for you. Right? You need to ensure that all statuses are successful. Right? And um, ensure all statuses are successful. Then my backup goes somewhere else. 1 second. Optimus backup. Okay, so okay, that's why. So it just overwritten what I had previously because I'm backing up the same database. All right. So this is a very simple backup plan that you can do for your routine maintenance. So we understood how the tables work in terms of how data is stored and how the naming conventions work. And even when you drill down within those tables, you can see those naming conventions, right? It starts off with the module, right? AA, which would be analytical accounting, right? You have FA, which is fixed assets. You have IV, which is inventory. You have GL, right? You have purchase order processing, etc. And then you have the group, the table group that it belongs to. And you have the sequence and then the variance, right? And all those can be vetted so you have an idea as to what table you are referencing and what is actually stored within that particular SQL table. All right, and just remember, once you have a large amount of information being added to your database on a daily basis, on a monthly, you should either recompile your statistics or update those statistics, sorry, and do a recompilation of your stored procedures for better performance. Always make sure that you do your database backups, and if for any reason you are updating the versions on your Dynamics GP, you should push out those client updates through your Microsoft Dynamics GP applications if you have a large number of users, to make things a lot easier for you. That way, when users do decide to log in, they have to update their information on their end in order to use the application and sign on and use that application. All right. Do we have any questions? I will just wait a few minutes to see if I have any questions. Okay. So I would like to thank you guys for joining. This was a pretty simple and easy how to perform routine maintenance on your system. right? It's something a system administrator would do just to ensure data integrity and data and performance on your Microsoft Dynamics GP application. This should be performed at least once a month in terms of the recompilation and the updating of the statistics, as well as running of your utilities in case any stored procedures or whatnot are missing. Like I said, if you have third parties, you have to be wary when running the database maintenance utilities because those customizations would also need to be reloaded. All right. So that is something to check with your GP partner for before doing anything of the sort in terms of running a database utility against your system. So I would like to thank you guys for joining us. Feel free to send any questions to operations@optimus.guru, and we'll be sure to answer them.